to my channel and to a video that was very highly requested, and I am more than happy to oblige. I hope you clicked on this video because you either love chocolate or you love brownies. Possibly one of my favourite sweet treats. I'm saying that I have tried a lot of brownies, possibly in the hundreds of brownies in my time, and these brownies, I'm putting my name to it, the best chocolate brownies you will ever make. I recently featured this cookbook in a vlog, which is what my aunt and uncle got me for my birthday. This is Death by Chocolate, a last word on a consuming passion. And the author is Marcel Desoliniers, I think that's how you say his name. This cookbook was first published in 1992, so way before I was born, and I have ate these brownies ever since I can remember. So I just had a little rummage through one of our photo albums and found this picture. I'll leave it on screen. So this is a photo of me. I'm not sure how old I would have been here, maybe five or six. And this is in my aunt and uncle's kitchen, not the one that they currently live in. Although some of the things in this photograph, the kitchen scales, the box of flour, the spice rack, all still remain in their kitchen currently. So this is honestly one of my favorite photographs and ignited my love for brownies. So this chef was 19 in 1965, so he went to culinary school in the USA where this book was published, and it really ignited his love for brownies. And I have made these so many times and they are delicious. It makes 12, so I'm going to run through the ingredients and talk about some chocolate. Okay, so these are the ingredients you're going to need. We need 1 cup of sugar. Now the recipe says granulated, but I've always used caster and it's been absolutely fine. 3 medium free range eggs. 2 tablespoons of really good quality cocoa powder. If you can get Dutch processed cocoa powder, then use it because it will make them delicious. 1/4 cup of plain all-purpose flour plus 1 tablespoon to sprinkle in the brownie tin. You're gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. The recipe uses 1 teaspoon, but I actually scale the baking powder back to make them more fudgy and less cakey. 1 teaspoon of good quality vanilla extract. This one is from Taylor & College. It's amazing. You're gonna need a 1/4 cup of sour cream. This just makes it lovely and fudgy and rich. And you're gonna need 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter plus an extra little bit in the packet to grease the tin. Now we're going to talk about chocolate. These are actually what I picked up from Costco. These are Kirkland semi-sweet chocolate chips with a 51% cocoa solid. Now, when you use chocolate, cater towards your preference, but chocolate chips, or as the author calls them, chocolate pieces, actually have a coating on them, which means that they don't fully melt when they are in the oven, which just provides the best bite. When you take a lovely little bite of a brownie and the chocolate hasn't quite fully melted, it still retains some of that loveliness, then go ahead and use these. So these are semi-sweet chocolate chips at 51%. But on the other end of the scale, slightly more expensive, we have these, which are a brand called Gittard, or Gittard, I'm not quite sure how you say it. These are dark chocolates, which are 63%, and milk chocolate, which are 31%. I would say, do try and stick with at least 3 ounces of dark, because it might feel like you're going against your will if you don't like dark chocolate, but trust me, it doesn't translate as being bitter. If anything, it is just really ramps home the taste of chocolate. Because I am a chocolate fiend, I'm also going to add some of these. These are 85% dark chocolate. Now these are even taken, oh my god, they are just like rich chocolate pebbles. And I'm adding those in purely just because I adore chocolate and nothing is too chocolatey in my eyes. You can of course wait there, but I'm going to add some mix-ins of some mixed nuts. I've got some pecans, some walnuts and some hazelnuts. So I'm going to roast those in the oven just slightly to release all of the lovely oils and flavours, and then chop them up and pop them in the brownies. So we're going to do a mix of all 3. If you do have a nut allergy, you can of course leave these out. Sorry for the long intro, but let's get into making some brownies. So before we do anything else, I'm going to actually start roasting some nuts. So I'm going to do a mix of pecans, going to add some hazelnuts, and then some walnuts as well. Spread all of that out evenly, and then I'm going to roast this in a 180-degree oven fan for around 15 minutes until they've all got a lovely colour and they start to release that lovely nutty smell. before we do anything else, I do recommend that you weigh out your ingredients. We're going to use a 9x9 square cake pan here with a removable bottom, if it has it. If it doesn't, don't worry. So this is just the leftover butter that I used to measure out. So I'm going to pop a pastry brush in there and just spread that all over the bottom and the sides to make sure that it doesn't stick. And then you want around a tablespoon of flour in the tray like so. And then just tap it around all along the sides to make sure that it is all coated. It takes a little bit of time, but putting the effort in now will make sure that the brownies come out with no problems at all. Okay, so in a large bowl with a sieve just on top, pop your plain flour, so it's your all-purpose flour, salt and baking powder, and cocoa powder through the sieve. Just give that a little shimmy. You can use a spoon just to push out those last little bits and give that a little whisk just to incorporate it together. Okay, so we're measuring out 85 grams of semi-sweet chocolate chips here. They look like little mini ice gems, so cool. Now the recipe doesn't say to do this, but just from previous experience, if you add your chocolate chips into your dry ingredients and give them a little coat, it helps with the distribution so they don't all sink to the bottom. Just a little tip that I can pass on to you guys. And then we need 85 grams of dark unsweetened chocolate. And maybe a little bit more. Amazing. And then 56 grams of semi-sweet to make the blend that we're going to melt. Okay, so the nuts have had about 10 to 15 minutes to roast. They are quite hot, but what you'll notice is these little hazelnuts here actually have some skins on them, so you can just peel those off. And then you have a very hot but lovely toasted hazelnut. To save chopping, we're just going to pop them into a little food blender. If you want to chop them by hand, you can. Lid on, and then just give it a quick pulse. And then again, you can just add the nuts straight into the bowl with the cocoa and give that a little whisk just to get it all incorporated. Okay, so I've got a pan over here and I'm gonna add some boiling water, just enough to cover the bottom to create some steam. So just pop the heat on. So this is what you call a double boiler in the US, but in the UK we just call it a bain-marie. I think that's like a French term as well. And then I'm gonna add the unsalted butter in as well. And I'm just gonna keep an eye on that and melt that down until it's nice and combined. Whilst the chocolate is melting, we're going to start on whisking up the eggs. If you do have a stand mixer, absolutely use it, but if you don't, you can do it by hand, or if you've got a hand beater, that works too. So it's 3 eggs straight in. There we are. And then we're just going to pop the head down and get that whisk in. It's just combined, so I'm going to add in the caster sugar. You're not looking for lots of air, but you want it to be nice and foamy. And a splash of vanilla extract, around 1 teaspoon. Okay, so that has had about a minute to whip up. You can see it's nice and voluminous and thick. That is perfect. Okay, so the chocolate has melted with the butter beautifully. It's so glossy and smooth. I'm just leaving it to cool ever so slightly because I don't want it to scramble the eggs. That has happened before. I'm going to add that into the whipped up egg mixture and then add in the dry ingredients, sour cream, pop it in the tray, and we're good to go. To finish this off, I'm just going to sprinkle some extra chocolate pieces on top. This is completely optional, but I mean, if we're going to do chocolate brownies, let's just fully go for it. So they're going to go into the oven for around 45 minutes at 160 degrees fan. I'll leave alternative cooking temperatures down below. And this is the thing I used to struggle with so much as a child, waiting for the brownies to cook and having to do the dishes, both of which I don't enjoy doing, but it is part and parcel. The magic at the end. Okay, the brownies have just come out of the oven and I've done the cake skewer test. I always go in the middle, and if it comes out a bit wet, that is perfect because the residual heat in these will continue to cook. You don't want them to be overdone. You want them to be nice and fudgy, and a bit of fudginess is good because you want to leave these to cool completely. And they are a lot less cakey than I've previously made them, and that's on scaling back the baking powder. So I will write the full ingredients below, but these need to cool down fully. make these brownies, do let me know. I have written out the whole recipe down below with ounces, cups and gram conversions, so you can cook it however you like. These are absolutely delicious. I'm going to sit down with a cup of coffee and enjoy these. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this. And let me know if you want this to be a regular series on here. I can do a little calm, relaxing video dedicated to something that I hold closely to my heart, usually chocolate. Thank you so much for watching. Love to you all. Take care. And I'll catch you all very soon. Bye for now.